You are now entering the Zendaru Karate Dojo. You are here to train. You are here to learn. Put your mind into the right space. Deeply into your mind to learn the Zendaru open-minded method of training. Zendaru has a long history, going back 1,500 years, back to the Shaolin Monastery, back to the monks, training their minds and body. In Chinese, Zendaru is called Chen Dao Lao Chuan Fa, means the school that finds the way, the path, the truth, the reality, through an open, clear, meditative mind. Buddha Dharma, the 28th patriarch of Buddha, is our founder of the Zendo concept of open-mindedness to truth applied to all styles, whether they're now called karate, kung fu, or taekwondo. The monks call it sitting meditation. However, after practicing meditation properly, proper posture, proper attention for many months to many years, you should be able to do Zazen in the middle of your karate training, in the middle of a battle, or in the middle of a quiet walk down the street. Zazen, still, deep. To do meditation, sit down quietly in a quiet place. Cross your legs, fold your hands. Right hand on top of left hand. Connect your thumbs. Keep your back straight. Chin in. Pick a spot in front of your eyesight on the floor. Visualize it. Concentrate on it. And then let your eyes close. Breathing calmly, deeply. Many Zen masters count their breaths. Breathe in deeply into your abdomen, deep into the pit of the center of your abdomen, called the hara. Concentrate your mind. Forget the outside world. Breathing calmly. Breathing lightly. Forget your breath. Now is to meditate. Outside thoughts creep in. Let them go. Do not try to force the breath. Do not try to force the mind. Do not try to force the thoughts to go away. Let them come. Let them leave. Student, these are all the ranks that we're going to be covering in today's class, all the way to first degree black belt over the next few hours. We are now a beginner, a Shoshinsha, a new-minded person. We are going to learn all of the techniques that it takes to earn the 9th level, the first level of ranks, called the Kukyu. All of the basic techniques. All right, student, now we're going to start with the basic techniques from your training manual. Make sure you look in your training manual. We're going to be following all of the techniques in the order that they're given in the training manual. Now we're going to start with straight punches. When you do a straight punch, we'll start from a ready position here. When you punch, keep your wrists very straight, and we're punching with the 2 front knuckles only. The 2 front knuckles. Keep your wrists straight. Keep your shoulders back and down. Don't hunch your shoulders. Keep them back and down. When you're punching, keep your arm in close to your side. Now we can do these punches 2 different ways. Either reverse, which means we're going to punch over or with the side that's back. In any technique, a punch, a strike, or a kick, a reverse is with or over the side that's back, like a reverse punch. A lunging technique is when we step in aggressively. First of all, I'll demonstrate the reverse punch. Reverse punch, we're twisting our hips forward and punching. Twisting the hips forward and punching. Application, into your opponent's body here, or of course, up higher if you wish, to go to the face. If I were going to step in, that's called a lunging technique. We step forward and then punch. Step in and then punch. The next technique we're going to cover is if we're in close to our opponent. That's called a close punch. When we do a close punch, we keep our body in close to our arm right here, right in close to our body, and in close to our opponent. If we're punching up high, it would be a high variation of the close punch. The next one is a short punch, usually done from a cover position. You're just going a short distance to the body or the face. An excellent setup technique to follow through with another technique. The next punch we're going to cover is a vertical punch. The fist is vertical. Again, it can be done reverse, like this, or lunging. Still using just the 2 front knuckles. Now, not in your training manual, but also can be used are the round punch, big, wide area, or, for in close, a hook punch. Hook punch. These are not required in your test, but may be learned. We have these techniques in various styles of karate, kung fu, and taekwondo. Now we're going to start learning knife hand strikes. Knife hand strike is the edge of the hand. The edge of the hand. Remember now, we can do it overhand reverse over the side that's back, or stepping in also. Keep that in mind. The first strike we're going to work with is an overhand straight down knife hand strike. Overhand straight down knife hand strike. This is good for cracking the skull, breaking the collarbone, or front fighting stance, Kent. If you kicked an opponent in the street and he slumped over, you could break the back of the neck this way with the overhand straight down. Now the next one, stay in the front fighting stance. The next one comes in a circular motion, this way. Overhand circular knife hand strike. Of course, this is on the reverse side. If you stepped in, it would be lunging knife hand strike. We also can do the knife hand strike across the chest to the side, across the chest to the side, or from the front, across the chest to the front. Knife hand strike. Good setup technique for following through with a hard punch counter technique. Return to York. Now the next technique we're going to work on, according to your training manual, is striking with the bottom of the fist. A bottom fist strike. Overhand, straight down, bottom fist strike. Again, can be used to the face, or the front of the face, or the collarbone. If we step in, again, that's a lunging bottom fist strike, coming straight down. We also have it, just like the knife hand strike, comes in a circular manner, this way. Overhand, circular, bottom fist strike. Overhand, circular, bottom fist strike. Also to the side, from a straddle stance, cross the chest to the side, bottom fist strike. And cross the chest to the front, bottom fist strike. Now the next thing we're going to be working on is a back fist strike. A back fist strike. A variation of the back fist would be just with the back of the knuckles. But our basic back fist strike is with the whole back of the fist behind the knuckle structure. We have again the overhand straight down back fist strike. Can be done reverse or stepping in, which we call lunging. When you do the reverse, make sure you twist your upper body to get to the center line of what you're striking. The circular back fist strike comes from an underhanded circular motion, much like basic circular motions in Kung Fu, and rotates around this way to hit, or this way to hit. From a basic position here, coming around with the back of the fist. We also have it to the side, of course, from the straddle stance. Cross the chest to the side, back fist strike. And from the front, cross the chest to the front, back fist strike. Also, oftentimes you will see karate and kung fu people using the fist in a snapping action. Snapping action. Coming from over the pectoral muscle, it can snap out and back to your opponent on a natural hinge of your arm. The knife hand and the bottom fist strike can also be used snapping, but you see the back fist used more often. Now we're going to be using the spear hand. The spear hand is basically a finger thrust, utilizing the fingers in basic ways. The basic ways we use the fingers in a spear hand is to the eyes or tight together to the throat. There are other variations that you do not see in your training manual. I will explain some of these to you. These are not required on your test, but you should understand these techniques. You can use it vertical, spear hand here. Or you can use one finger at a time, here going to the eye or throat. Or two-finger spear to the eye or the throat. Also, the fingers can be used in a claw action, like the tiger form from Shaolin Kung Fu that we use here at this school. Also, the hand can be extended in this way, like an eagle's talon for ripping and popping out the eyes. Also, when we're working on the fingers, we explain in our normal classes the use of these small knuckles on the fingers, such as the knuckles on the thumbs are very good for going into sensitive areas. Or if you're being choked or grabbed, slamming into the rib cage. Also, you can use the first knuckle right here, or the middle knuckle right here, for the same type of uses into the ribs or into sensitive areas. The 4 front knuckles can be used in a raking action or a punching action also. Now we're going to start with elbow strikes, utilizing all parts of the elbow. To begin with, we see this in this school as this being the front part of the elbow, the back part of the elbow. This is the very tip, so we have the front of the tip and the back of the tip. Keep that in mind in your training. Again, all of these techniques can be done reverse or stepping in, which we call lunging. This way, lunging front elbow strike, or reverse front elbow strike for close-in fighting. If our opponent is behind us, we can come around this way for a back elbow strike. Back elbow strike, utilizing the whole back part of the elbow, or utilizing the front of the tip would be a front tip elbow strike, primarily used for the jaw or against a tall attacker, could be used to the solar plexus. The back tip can come straight back into the opponent. Come up face this way, Ken. If my opponent is behind me, I can break out of the hold and shoot this elbow straight back, hitting with the back of the tip of the elbow. Now we also use the very tip or point of the elbow. Back to a forward stance here, Ken. This is going to the side, here with the very tip this way. Make sure you do not throw your arm back. Come straight in with the tip. Also, if we're in a fighting situation, change sides in your stance, Ken. Let's say we're working into our opponent, and I kick the opponent, cover position. And I kick the opponent low, and he slumps over. I can come straight down with the tip. This way. Thank you. Now we're going to move into blocking techniques. We're going to start out with forearm blocks, using the muscular part of the forearm to block with. The first block we're going to learn is a downward forearm block. Downward forearm block. This can be used against a low punch or a kick coming to any of these areas. Ken, forward stance, lunging punch to the stomach area, please. This way to counter. Now a kick, front kick. Blocking here, and then counter. The next block that we're going to cover is the upward forearm block. This protects our face and throat area. Starts here and blocks in an upward motion this way. Upward motion. From the side, it goes across the face this way. This is primarily against a punch to the face or an overhand strike. Can't punch to the face. Here. Or an overhand strike. Again, go. This way. So now we can counter. Take down and finish if we need to. Up. The next block, we use the inside of the forearm. Starts here. Temporary cover. Block. Inside forearm block. This protects primarily your upper chest area, but also could protect the face if you needed to up higher. Lunging punch to the chest. Ready? Begin. Then we can counter from here. Now the next thing we're going to be working on is what's called the rising forearm block. The rising forearm block rises up this way in one complete motion. From a position here, the block would start in a cocking position as if you were punching. You will see this block later on in your katas quite a bit. It's primarily a Japanese type block, rising forearm block. Again, punching towards the face, here. Then, of course, we could move in and counter here if we wanted to. In this case, a close punch, because I'm up close. All right? The next block we're going to be working on is a high outside forearm block. It protects the face and upper chest to throat area. From here to here. Lunging punch, nice and slow. Begin. Here. Then we can move right into our opponent here. The next block we're going to cover is the low outside forearm block, protecting against the groin and abdomen area, not meant for up higher. Low outside forearm block. Now sometimes this can be done with the inside of the wrist. We see that as a variation. But the basic technique that you're tested on is the low outside forearm block. Against the low kick, kicking primarily with a fast kick towards the groin. Can't kicking with your forward foot towards the groin, please. Begin. Blocking it out of the way this way, so then we could counter in. The last forearm block that we're going to cover today is the dropping forearm block. The hand cocks up about as high as your temple and drops straight down across your body. Your arm will end up at about a 45-degree angle below your belt. This could be used against a punch to this area or a kick. Lunging punch to this area, please. Begin. Here. And then, of course, we can counter. Thanks. All right, next, student, we're going to be using the knife hand again, but now instead of striking, we're going to use it to block with. Generally, when we block with the knife hand strike, it follows generally about the same areas and the same motions as, for instance, the upward and the downward forearm block. But we call it a high and a low knife hand block. The first one we're going to be working with is the low knife hand block. Low knife hand block comes from here and blocks low, usually against a kick. And normally, because we're blocking down here instead of up here, we would be farther away from our opponent. Another reason that we might use the knife hand block is that when we block, for instance, his arm, the hand is open, so we could grab and counter punch. So the first one is the low knife hand block. The next one is the high knife hand block. And then the middle knife hand block. Now also there is a formal way, usually done from a cat stance in Okinawan, or a back stance in Korean and Japanese styles. The formal knife hand block is done more formally as it is performed in katas or forms. And the retreating hand, or the backhand, is placed against the solar plexus. Now this can be done in the middle level as well as the high and the low knife hand block area. But you'll see it primarily in your katas working up to black belt in the middle area. All right, let's see its application. First of all, let's have a kick coming in to the low area for the low knife hand block. All right, begin. Blocking with the edge of the hand. Now a punch to the face. Begin. Here. And again, we can grab and counter, take down if we need to. Punch whatever we want to from here. Now oftentimes the middle knife hand block won't be taken straight on. But actually the middle knife hand strike is usually used at an angle this way to go into our opponent. All right, next we're going to be learning open hand techniques with the wrist and the palm blocking in circular controlled manners that we call parries. Now, often these are used simultaneously in Chinese styles to block rapid attacks and kicks. We'll show you each parry separately so you understand its correct use. The first one, from a modified cover position with the forward hand open, you go with the attack. So as the punch comes in, you make contact on the hand and guide it past you. Let's take a look at that. Forward stance, slow punch towards the face, upper body, not stepping, just reverse punch. Go. Just guide it past you this way, so you can counter. The next one is a low outside parry. Make sure you stay real close to your leg here so that a kick does not come up into the groin area. All right, in this one, let's have a lunging front kick, and primarily for the low area again. Lunging. Here. Knocking your opponent aside. Maybe we would round punch from here. Maybe we would crack a jaw, use a takedown to finish him off. Up. The next parry we're going to work on is a pressing parry. Again, your hand starts extended so that as soon as your opponent punches, you can make contact and guide it past you this way. All right, from a forward stance, reverse punch, not stepping in. Here comes the punch into the middle section. Now, the first one was high, the second one was low. Now, this covers a middle area. Punch. Here. Pressing just past me here. So then I could move in and counter here. Or use a reverse side here to strike, or takedown, or chop. All right? Now, the next parry we're going to be working on utilizes the back and front of the wrist this way. This is called a high inside parry with a back wrist hook. The back wrist hook is against the punch here, and we hook it to the side this way. In Chinese Kung Fu, this can be used for hooking, trapping, and following up. High inside parry with a back wrist hook. Now, we also have a high inside parry with a front wrist hook. Again, make sure you keep your elbow low, so if you miss right here, your forearm can block part of the arm away. Again, a punch coming in, you deflect it this way, and then you can move in. In this parry in particular, your hand is formed this way, so that when you're in this position, not only did it deflect the blow from you, but you're in position to grab. And you can punch, pull, kick, whatever you want it to. Now the last one is a low inside parry. If the punch came a little higher, you could just do it on a higher variation this way. Or against a kick, a little bit lower. Okay, lunging front kick towards the low part. Begin this way. And the parry can be used as a grabbing technique too. Again, kicking towards the low area, go. We could grab, punch, step in, use a takedown, and follow through. Lots of ways we can work on this. Thank you, Ken. The next thing we're going to be working on are kicking techniques. Now, for most of you, this is going to take a lot longer. It's a lot harder work to learn all the exact ways of kicking. We're going to show you variations from Korean, Japanese, Chinese forms of hand and foot fighting, utilizing different kicks that they use in different styles of karate, kung fu, taekwondo, and the various names that hand and foot fighting go by. Make sure you're stretched out properly before you attempt kicking. We have an excellent booklet on stretching. Make sure you study that booklet carefully to protect your body, your muscle structure, your knees, your joints, your ligaments. Stretching is very important before kicking. Our first basic kick is the front snap kick. We bring the knee up nice and high before we kick, and we snap the foot out and back this way. This way. Again, this can be done reversed, with the side that's back, or lunging, which means stepping in. We want to point the foot out straight with just the toes rolled up. So even if we go up high to break a jaw, the foot is pointed as we kick. Coming straight up, snap and in. Front snap kick. Also, you can kick to the front with the heel. That would be called a front heel kick. It's not part of your test. It's not in your training manual, but it's one of the variations that you can use. The next kick that we're going to work with is called a side kick. A side kick, we use the edge of the foot with the toes rolled up, kicking with the edge of the foot. Now we can do a little short step to the side to kick. This way, kick right here. Front fighting stance. That leg forward. Give me something to shoot for here. All right, we can go to any level. We can break a knee. We can cave in the ribs, go for the stomach, or we can kick up higher towards the throat or face this way. If we come to a full stop, that's called a thrust kick. If we snap it out and back, that's called a snap kick. Thrust, again, is full stop. This way. All right. The next technique is the back kick. The back kick is done with the heel going straight back into our opponent. You can go low or high, picking up your foot about half as high as you would for the front kick and thrust it straight back this way. Now, you can move in from a side position this way with a short step to the side and turn like you would for a side kick, except we do a back kick this way. Or we can turn completely around, do a straight back kick this way, which is called a spinning back kick. Watch that again. From a position here, spinning, straight back kick. Now there are other styles, Chinese styles, Korean styles, that use a more circular kick. This again is not in your training manual, is not required in your test, but is good to learn, good to understand. The circular back heel kick is done with the back of the heel right down here. This can be done with a hooking technique. This way. A hooking technique. This way. Or it can be done in a full movement where we spin our body and bring the foot in a circular manner this way. Also, the inside of the foot can be used here. An inside crest kick, using the inward part of the foot, can be used up this way, like it was used in Billy Jack, the movie Billy Jack. Or you can use a basic crescent kick, which is done with the bottom part of the foot, coming around into our opponent this way, into the body here. Now sometimes this is used against somebody with a club or a knife, where you use this as a block instead of a kick. Here, and then moving in. This would be a crescent kick. Again, this is not in your test, but it's important to know and to understand. Circular back heel again comes in a big circle, usually moving this way to generate body power here for kicking. All right, thank you very much. Now the next thing we're going to be working on is called a roundhouse kick. Roundhouse kick. Now when we're due a basic roundhouse kick, we cock our leg up to our side this way, with the foot turned up and the toes turned up this way. At the top of the lift, we're going to twist our hips to bring our kick out and around this way. Make sure though, you fully get your leg to the side before you bring it around. So you bring it up, around, and in. Then a variation of that would be with the instep. The whole top of the foot down here that comes around as in Korean styles or some Kung Fu systems, especially the high kicking techniques of Kung Fu, which is in northern China. Let's see this instep kick also, but it comes at a more gradual angle, lifting at more of a 45-degree angle as you lift, and comes around this way, or from the side can be done this way. Let's see it on Kim. Front fighting stance. All right, get down in your stance, guard up. If I were coming around this way, I could cock my leg up with the instep kicking to the side of the face. With the other side, I could be coming from here and come around. Very common combination is to do the roundhouse kick, spinning, back kick, and recover. With the base of the toes, Kent right here, front fighting stance, right leg forward, to demonstrate where the base of the toes hits in this roundhouse kick. Remember, this is the one where we cock the leg up directly to the side and is our basic roundhouse kick. From here, cocking the leg up, rotate in and down. Again, coming up higher, this way. One more time. Cock the leg up, rotate the hips, and a full snapping technique. Fine. Thank you. Now in your training manual, you'll see the various stepping techniques that we have available that we work with. There are variations on these, but these are the basic stepping techniques that we use. Forward step simply means you're stepping forward. You bring your feet in close and step out. Forward step this way. If we're stepping back, we step back this way. Back stepping. If we're doing a short step is where we just step up like this. Possibly we're stepping up to punch, and then we'll move with another technique, moving in. Short step, for instance, to the side, is where we step to the side to do a side kick, or a technique to the side. If we put two short steps together, that would be a double step. A double step when we're moving into strike or any other technique. But if we interrupt the short step to do a foot technique, then it would be a short step, kick, advancing in. It is not a double step until you put two steps together. From the front, double step would be this way. If you cross your feet in any way, then it becomes a cross step. Cross step forward, cross step back. From the front, cross step forward, cross step back. When we're going back, we cross in back. When we're going forward, we cross in front. See the balanced position here. Shin to calf contact for balance. Going to the side, same thing is true. Cross in front, here, to do various techniques, whether it be hand techniques or kicking. If you're going to do a technique behind you, you cross in back, as if you were going to cross step and back kick this way. Thank you. All right, student, now that we know about stepping, we're going to show you some other various ways of moving and controlling your stances and your body. The first one is called a shuffle, where we simply pick up the front foot, push off with the back foot to go forward to get a rapid attacking technique this way. Or to shuffle back just a little bit away from your opponent to use a particular blocking technique. It's called a shuffle. Going forward, you pick up the front foot, push off with the back foot. Going back, you pick up the back foot, push off with the front foot. Shuffling. The next type of method that we have is called body or stance shifting. This is going from one particular stance by shifting one foot and moving into another technique. If I were, for instance, in a forward stance, I might move into a back stance and block. Or I might be in a back stance and shift my body into a forward stance, called body shifting. Now also I want to explain a little better what's in your training manual as referred to as a snapping technique or a thrust technique. I've given you two good examples here. Snapping simply means that there is an instant retraction of your technique. Instant retraction is a snapping technique. A thrust is where you get full hip and or body power, driving your technique fully to a complete stop as it drives into your opponent. Now that's an example of the ki. When we thrust in hard, you want to excel by pushing the air out of your body, tightening those muscles for a moment, and yelling. Expel the air so that you can excel in your energy and power for that moment that you hit. Except yell at the end of it. Hi! Just a loud yell. Don't say the word ki. Ki is the name of what you're doing. Thank you. Now we have completed our 9th cue requirements.